What's up, guys? Welcome to Stockwatch Sunday. I see a lot of folks already tuning in. Good to see you there. Welcome to Stockwatch Sunday. Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad, and what this channel is designed to do is to help you potentially get out of that 9-to-5 seat and be your own boss. Whether that's evolved around entrepreneurship, trading in the stock market, which is basically how this channel got started and what I still continue to do every day. And whatever it is that you want to do to, get yourself out of that everyday normal, 9-to-5 stuff. That's kind of what this channel is dedicated to being. So if you guys are interested in becoming an entrepreneur or just kind of diving into my journey of just entrepreneurship, I highly encourage you to check out the Monday Barcast. It comes out on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're not subscribed and you haven't hit that notification bell, you might want to do so. So get the bell on, and you'll get notified when that Barcast goes live. A lot of people really love it. There's lots of good insight and wisdom as well there. But for tonight, it's Stockwatch Sunday. We're going to be talking about stocks and which ones to watch out for. And more particular, there's been a lot of people that are nervous about the stock market and what you might want to do or consider if the market does indeed make some sort of correction, which I do think that it's going to. Maybe this is it, maybe it's not, but the uncertainty is certainly there, and we could certainly see some sort of downturn or correction. I think it's going to be a little bit sharper than we saw back in late fall, early winter of last year. So let me welcome some folks here first, and we'll get started. So what's going on, Alan, Mark, Bob? Good to see you, man. Raquel, some of my usual suspects. What's going on, Trials? JJ, good to see you. Beam me up. What's going on, Kenneth Rosenberg? Good to see you, man. Man, all kinds of folks showing up. Good to see you guys. So if there is so many folks here and you guys know what we're all about, or if you don't and you want to learn more about trading in the stock market and some of the stocks that I want to watch, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up as well. If you guys are here, let's see them. Let's see the thumbs up. So it really just kind of shows, more support for the channel. And obviously, as you guys might know, it gets more eyeballs out on what it is that we're trying to do here and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, now when the stock market is starting to take a correction or starting to move down, a few things happen, and we've seen this actually a little bit more so with the emergence of cryptocurrency and more specifically Bitcoin. But one thing that always stays constant is the volatility of penny stocks. And a lot of people might be rolling their eyes and saying, oh, well, penny stocks aren't my thing, and that's perfectly fine. But honestly, when the stock market starts to tank, penny stocks don't care. They just don't. Over-the-counter penny stocks in particular, I don't know how many times I've seen people come up to me like, man, what are you going to do with the stock market? It's crashing today. And I'm like, really? Because I made a ton of money because penny stocks just don't care. They're not wrapped up into the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. And while there may be a slight impact if there is a huge drop, because of liquidity is not going to be there as much as it was. But having said that, there's always volatility in the OTC. There's always volatility in penny stocks. But if penny stocks aren't your thing, that's okay. I would always suggest looking into getting into precious metals, which is what we'll be talking about tonight. And also, I have seen, now this isn't like my wheelhouse, but I have noticed that whenever there's some sort of scare within the market or there's uncertainty within the market, Bitcoin is also come in and being a new player, if you will, for people to almost kind of go to if they don't want to continue to have their funds wrapped up in the overall stock market. So that would be another area that you might want to consider looking at. But for tonight, I'll give you some cryptocurrency related stocks that you might want to check out, as well as some of the precious metal ones that we've already been trading over the last several weeks and months, as gold and silver have been on an incredible tear over the last several weeks because of the uncertainty and economic instability that's been going on with trade wars and Iran attacking, oil ships, all that stuff. And that's why we're seeing people gravitate towards gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, and that sort of thing. So, let's get to it. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys and show you what I'm talking about. So, if you've never visited this platform before, this is WeTradeHQ.com. This is the company that I was talking to you about, why I'm an entrepreneur here. It's an absolutely free platform to join. So you can go here, you can search your favorite tickers and talk about it amongst your friends. As you can see here, I'm always talking about JNUG. A couple of other people are as well. And what we're doing here is just kind of looking at JNUG as the gold ETF of choice for me personally. There's plenty of other gold ETFs out there, but JNUG is going to be the one for me. Now, JNUG has had some crazy volatility. That is why I kind of like this triple leveraged ETF, because it's going to offer me the volatility and liquidity that I need to get in and out quickly to make those day trades. Now, from a penny stock standpoint, I'm usually swing trading a lot of penny stocks, but in this case for JNUG, you can make arguments for buying and holding and making swing trades. But for me personally, I'm looking to make some decent day trades out of this, as I have over the last several weeks. Because it's just offering so much volatility right now. Now, as you can see, it's gone up nearly 80% since really, 10 trading days ago? Not even 10 trading days ago. It's gone up nearly 80%. So I've had a lot of people within my morning mentorship, and they're like, man, Brad, we're always talking about penny stocks and OTCs. Why is it that we're talking about JNUG? It's like, because it's just as volatile right now. A lot of people are scared by this number, $95.42 at the close on Friday, but a near 80% move? That's crazy. So that kind of volatility, it doesn't matter how much the price is. It's the percentage. It's the movement that this is offering you. So having said that, I think that JNUG is going to probably pull back slightly because it has broken up over $100 since coming from all the way to 66. But I don't think that it's going to break down that much. I think that it could potentially come back down to the 93, 94 area, which is where I'm kind of looking to get it in at. And so I think that coming down here to 94, 93, I'm going to look for an area of support to come down to and then look for confirmation. What I mean by that, I'm going to look at my indicators. I'm going to check to see if this actually starts to bounce off of this support and start to show a upward momentum. We're going to look at the price action, and if the price action is telling us, hey, listen, there's a lot more buying coming up after it's bouncing off of this 95, 94 support, then that'll be a good area to get into. If you're looking to invest in this long term, I don't think that's too much of a bad idea either, only because of how everybody's kind of gravitating towards precious metals. And I can show you this as well. This is SLV. It's a silver related ETF. And same thing. This gapped up considerably over the last several days, and it has just been continuing to push onward and upward. And again, this all has to do with the overall stock market, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones. There's been some extreme volatility there, a huge downturn, and I can show you with the SPY ETF, which is the S&P 500 ETF. You can see how it's been pretty crazy over the last several trading days. You can see this significant gap down over 2 days, earlier in the week last week, and it started to come back a little bit. But I'm not sure. I'm not really convinced that's a confirmation of any kind of bounce. If nothing else, I would say that it's probably a dead cat bounce. If nothing else, I would expect it to come back down to these levels, perhaps maybe even as low as it was later last year. And so, again, I think that going towards precious metals, maybe even Bitcoin-related kind of stocks, or just Bitcoin in general, may be an option for you. That seems to be where people are gravitating towards the most. And if we look at Bitcoin here, we're looking, and we can pull it up on WeTradeHQ.com and see what it's trading at right now. So if you can see how it's already moving, this obviously stock market's closed, but cryptocurrency trades 24/7. You can see that right now, Bitcoin is trading at 11,400. It's gone as high as 12,300 last week when we saw extreme volatility in the stock market. That's what I'm telling you. When you can see that the overall stock market is starting to downturn, you can see how Bitcoin is reacting to that, and a lot of people are moving over towards cryptocurrency related stuff and precious metals as well. Having said that, I think from a penny stock standpoint that T-Cell is going to be a good penny stock to get into. They're looking to get themselves current. They got all kinds of good stuff going on. They're getting ready to go through a name change. They reverse merged. They will be XTRA for Extra Bitcoin. They are a mining company. They came out with news on the 6th just to kind of let everybody know they're looking to get themselves current in order to be able to go through the name change as well as ticker symbol name change. And I'm still pretty excited about this one. The share structure alone, from what I have been able to gather on the price action of this stock, looks as if it is much thinner than what we're seeing at on the unrestricted OS. I think the float is much smaller than this 1.9 billion. But even if it was 1.9 billion from a 000 standpoint, that's still pretty thin. But given the fact that there hasn't been a whole lot of dollar volume pouring in on this one, and the buying continues to happen here, and it continues to creep up. We saw it go up to 011 last week. I thought perhaps maybe we were out of the trips forever, but as we saw, it looked like it came back down to 0008. But having said that, I think that it needed some sort of cool down. I think that getting at 0008 seems as if it's a good spot, but I'm always leery to tell people to just go buy in at something like this. It's really hard to determine any kind of real support when something's being traded at 0008, 9, what have you. It's really difficult to find that support level. But having said that, I think this is a really good pullback here. If we see some sort of catalyst coming out that, yes, they're getting themselves current, yes, the ticker symbol and name change is for sure going through, we will see a nice pop from T-Cell. I think that we could even see at least 002 from these levels, and that could be a really nice move for anybody looking to get in the 000 range. Now, having said that, like I said, 000s are always the wild card. They're never really the sure thing. So if you are not looking to play anything extremely risky, this one probably is not for you. I have been in since 0004, so I'm already up over 100% on this trade. We got in when we first started to see news of cancellations of reverse splits as well as reverse merger announcements. So this one's going to be one very much on my radar moving forward. As like I said, it's I've been in for quite some time, so I'm pretty happy with it overall. But I think that we're going to see a nice continuation of T-Cell. Hey, what's going on, Joker? Good to see you, man. He's in Disney. That's awesome. Hope you're having a good time. All right, so nice. So the next one that I want to talk about as far as OTC penny stocks is concerned is ARSN. So, and actually, I'm gonna bring you to here. I'm gonna show you on my nice, beautiful screen the chart of ARSN. And some of the folks within my morning mentorship, we were talking about this one actually kind of jokingly. I like to show folks, within my morning mentorship, I go live with them from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. And let me pull the chat up here. I just want to see you guys. So I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. via voice chat, via the Zoom app. And I, kind of pull up potential news that's come out that I think might potentially move a stock. We made excellent trades last week on a lot of stuff. A lot of people made a lot of money. DCGD, I saw Gene within our group made a killing on DCGD. It was really awesome to see. But within that group, we were talking, and we're like, ARSN looks like it's starting to form some sort of pattern here. And normally I would say, yeah, it looks like a cup and handle. But it's a little bit of a loose version of a cup and handle. And the running joke was that this actually kind of looks a little bit like a gravy boat. Not going to lie. But nevertheless, it is a cup and handle indeed. But you can see how some people would make light of that and see that it would be a kind of like a gravy boat type of pattern. It looks kind of like that. But having said that, it's coming back up to this resistance here, and that's right at 01. And what I tell people a lot of times that, yeah, you can physically see this resistance at 01, and it's spiked up over 1 a couple of times over the last several trading days, but it hasn't really sustained that break. I'm looking for this to break up over 01. There's been a lot of new developments with management. I think the Yinglings are actually taking over for sure this company. Everett Dixon is the CEO, but I don't think he's going to be the major player for much longer. If he is, it's not going to be in some major capacity. So I think that from a chart perspective, ARSN looks really good. It looks really good, especially if we can get some sort of catalyst, and I think that we might get one. Let me show you what I mean. So Amazon is now selling Yuengling ice cream. That's what ARSN is involved with. This is the ice cream company that reverse merged into ARSN. And so I think, and this hasn't been a formal PR. We haven't seen this formally put out yet as an official press release that they are selling their products on Amazon. So this is just another huge thing. I think that they're extremely undervalued. And I think that there's going to be a nice move from ARSN. The other thing from them that we've seen was that they have basically stopped diluting. We haven't seen any dilutive market makers on this for basically the last week and a half. And I think that this is definitely set up for a catalyst to come out. If a catalyst comes out, given the chart here, it's just going to blow this right out of the water. When you're looking at a cup and handle pattern like this, you're looking for this bunching here after a little bit of a sell-off and it starts to rise back up and test that resistance. You're looking for this consolidation and bunching. That's the handle that we talk about on the cup and handle formation. And so when it can break out one way or the other. The hope is obviously that it'll break out or break up, and that will continue here to break resistances. If it gets past 01, we can see it get past maybe 014 being the next area of resistance. So I think that this could definitely make some strong moves. We've only seen spikes up over 01, but I would really like to see some sort of sustained breakout over a penny. There's that mental resistance of a penny just because it's like a milestone type of resistance that people just kind of get scared of. But you can obviously see on the chart that it's also showing a physical technical resistance here at 01. So that's what I really want to look for on ARSN. I think there's definitely some promise there. Yeah, so the next one I'm going to be talking about. So by the way, guys, if you guys have any questions, you want to have me look over some sort of ticker that you're interested in that I'm not talking about, please make sure that you're putting it within the chat as well, and then I'll be able to go over it with you guys at the end after I'm done going over these last couple of tickers. So if you guys are interested in having me take a look at something that you are considering trading throughout the week and just getting my opinion on it, I'd be happy to help. Put it down in the chat there and give me a little bit something else, not just like thoughts on ticker, insert ticker here. Give me like something. Why do you see value in it? And then I'll let you know if, yeah, I see where you're saying this looks like it has a potential move, that sort of thing. So give me something other than just a ticker symbol and why you're seeing value in it. And then we can look into it a little bit deeper. So having said that, let me get to the last one that I'm talking about, and it's Cloudera. So Cloudera is CLDR. I've been talking about this within my morning mentorship over the last couple of days. And, with this one, there's a lot of interesting things going on. First of all, when you're looking at the chart here, you can see there is a gap that needs to be filled, right? And one thing that I know about penny stocks, and I would still consider CLDR right now a penny stock. RKDA had a similar type of move where it filled this gap. And I called that right on the money on Friday. Let's see. Let me pull up RKDA just to kind of give you a frame of reference. And this is what I'm talking about here. So RKDA had an amazing move. Bought into this thing in the high $2 range, and it just made a monster move up, almost to $5. It really wanted it. But as you can see here, there was this gap down. On the 30-minute chart, you can see, and then it really started to try to fill that gap. On penny stocks, they always love filling gaps. And so when you're looking at this, you can see how the gap filled on RKDA. They came out with news on Friday, and it skyrocketed. Unbelievable move from that one. We have yet to see that from CLDR, and I think that the catalysts are coming for CLDR to at least fill this gap and maybe more. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you go to the recent filings, you can see these 13 Ds that came out. And if you don't know what they are, well, when anybody of significance buys up usually more than 5% of the company, 5% of the share structure, OS, they have to file some sort of SC13, or sometimes you'll see 13G, 13D filing. And it's interesting to see who's been on this. So Carl Icahn is, if you guys don't know who he is a philanthropist, entrepreneur. He's worth $18 billion. Let me say that again. He's worth $18 billion, and he's investing in CLDR. He sees a lot of potential with this one. Now, the first 13D that came out signified that he is investing 13.18%. Then he came out with another one on Friday after hours, 14.69%. This guy is accumulating CLDR because he sees a lot of potential in this one. He's an investor just like a lot of other investors are, Warren Buffett type investor that sees value in CLDR. So I think that this one's still flying under the radar very much, but I don't think for long. He was on CNBC and last week, Friday actually, after hours, talking about CLDR and how he thinks that it's at least going to $10 from where it's at, and it's worth much more. So as you can see here, this is actually a little bit dated article that came out about Carl Icahn. He's investing, he's actually accumulated quite a ton of dollar value here, spending $198.8 million over 48 separate transactions to buy company stock at an average of $5.75 per share. He's very interested in becoming a board member on this particular stock. So I think that CLDR, still very much under the radar, is looking to fill that gap. You know, maybe it continues to go on beyond that, but at the very least, that's what I'm looking for on CLDR. I bought in CLDR at $6.50, closed the day at $7. I really thought that it was going to have a strong move over $7. We saw it briefly, but nevertheless, I think $7, if it breaks up over that, we could see a nice move to at least 8 or 9. And that's one that I'm watching going on into next week. I think this is going to be an exciting one to watch because of the after hours filing and with that interview with Carl Icahn on CNBC after hours as well. So those are the ones that I'm watching. Take note of them. I think that they'll end up getting a move on this week. So let's see here. Yeah, thanks, Jerso. RKDA, amazing call. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, baby move on CLDR. I think it still has plenty left in the tank, Matt Fuller. How come you're not on freebies with T-Cell? And do you have a timeline expectation for the price per share rise? I haven't sold a T-Cell yet. I had thought about it. I just hadn't brought myself to do it just yet. Because honestly, there hasn't been enough volume for me to really kind of sell into just yet. I'm waiting for some sort of significant run. I think that perhaps it could. Again, I'm looking for them to get current, and I think that would be the move there. So Fern getting current. I don't really care about Fern. They're way too fat. Lots of shares to get eaten up. I played Fern almost 2.5 years ago. It let me down then, and it just never really came back since. They don't know how to stop diluting. What's going on, David? Good to see you, man. If anybody knows anything about the Barcast, David and Volley are the ones that are always editing my videos. So that's David right there. Good to see you in Stockwatch Sunday, man. So we all know that Andy is garbage, but with a new CEO and him canceling all prior business ventures to concentrate on CBD, can you say that there's any hope? Here's what I'll give you on CBD related anything. Everybody's in it. Everybody and their mother's in CBD. Why is this guy going to take over Andy and think that he's going to light the world on fire with it? We know that Andy has full of shares. The share structure is large. The OTC market right now is not full of cash. There's not a ton of cash flowing into it. And the CBD market is so saturated right now. The competition's high. The barrier to entry is high. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know, anytime that I see a PR now that involves CBD, I just roll my eyes at. I'm sick of hearing about CBD. I really am. So the only ones that are actually going to make it worthwhile are the big players that are already in it. I don't expect ANDI to get a move on at all. I mean, this was a company that were looking to build cell phones 2 years ago, a year ago, and it went off like a rocket. Well, then they diluted it to hell. It never came back. And now all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's just get into CBD. This reminds me exactly of what happened when Bitcoin went crazy. Everybody would change their entire business model. They were getting into cryptocurrency. This is the next best thing. And everybody, they had cryptocurrencies for everything. It was unbelievable. Companies that were once, thought to revolve around face cream, now they're getting into cryptocurrency. Companies that were selling cigars, now they're getting into cryptocurrency. And we're seeing the same thing with CBD. So you just got to be careful. I'm not saying that getting into a stock that's related to CBD or weed or cannabis related is a bad thing. But be careful of the ones that you actually get into. Because the market is so saturated with these type of stocks, you have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, you're doing the right fundamental analysis to see if the stock is actually worth a shit, because there's so many that are out there that really are just trying to hop on this train and get you to buy their shares that they're basically just going to try to dilute on you anyway. So that's my thoughts on ANDI. Yeah, ANDI and LIBE, they're pretty much the same thing. Yeah, that's a good point, Andrew. Okay. SRNA looking good, consolidated all day. So, yes, Bob, talking about Shark 181, talking about SRNA. I can't believe I forgot about this. Excellent call, by the way, Alan, on SRNA. So, Alan, within my morning mentorship, again, if you guys are not in there, I highly encourage you to check it out. If you want to step up your trading game, you can check that out. It's the link's in the description. Again, I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Via Zoom, so it's a video conference, and I'm with them throughout the day via Discord chat group as well, all day, every day. I'm there with you guys to help you become better traders, manage risk, all that good stuff. So, SRNA was an amazing move over the last couple of days. Let me pull this up. I can't believe that so many other people didn't take notice of SRNA, but this has moved from 33 cents all the way up to highs of around almost 85 cents. Why? Because of this. So let's go pull this up. If we go to otcmarkets.com and pull up SRNA, they came out with news, and it blew me away. And a lot of other folks within my morning mentorship were like, why is nobody seems to take notice? And then all of a sudden it just took off. Dollar volume showed up and it was over. This stock was taking off like a rocket, and I still think that it has gas in the tank in this one, Alan, and anybody else who's watching, Bob as well. SRNA came out with news on Thursday, I believe it was, that they report record $4.2 million in quarterly revenue and its first profitable quarter ever. Now, there's a lot of publicly traded companies out there on NASDAQ and S&P 500 that aren't profitable. To see one in the OTC, that's a big deal. So, and nevertheless, $4.2 million in quarterly revenue. So, and now they're profitable. That was a huge deal. And I think given the fact that the share structure is quite decent, looking at this, it's probably somewhere around 227,000. But again, at this price point, I think it's reacting a lot, that it's like a lot less than that. Looking at the 30-minute chart here, you can see how it just blasted off. I mean, it hasn't been this high in quite some time. I think there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, but if you're looking at this 30-minute chart, you can see this bullish flag forming here, end of day on Friday. This has a lot of potential, I think, to continue to run. And we're looking at another resistance of probably somewhere around 10 cents. Again, it's another one of those mental resistance levels that people just, when they see an even number like a dime or a penny or a dollar, that just automatically becomes a resistance, even if it doesn't show up on the chart as one, just because people just get it. It's a psychology to them. It's like a milestone type of resistance that people just, can't get their heads around. But 10 cents, I think, looks like it could be the next area of resistance. If it breaks 10 cents, I think it'll really get on, and it could definitely be a really nice move for a lot of folks who are already in it. And if you're not, I would just look for some sort of pullback. But I think that SRNA definitely has potential there. Very nice call on that, Alan. Love having you in the group, man. Very, very nice call on that. Yeah, no problem, Driver Dave. Good to appreciate you. Peter Lachina, hi. What are your thoughts on the split on IGMB? Do you think holders in IGMB will fare as good as better as the other company? Here's the thing with IGMB. We saw this with a lot of companies. I think IGMB, the split that they have is not necessarily a split that they need, and there's potential there for them to just cancel the split altogether. The share structure isn't terrible. So if we go and look at this, let me pull this up for you guys. IGMB. Okay. So IGMB has been one that it's been kind of up and down. You know, you can see on the daily chart that it has a pretty tough resistance there around 6.2. And really, they came out with news on, was it Friday? This is one that I'm not extremely familiar with. Like, I know about it. I know that people are excited about IGMB, but let me just get my bearings here. So they came out with news on the 9th. So yeah, that was Friday. And they came out with news to announce transformational merger, fully reporting publicly held company that wholly owns a Datix, a healthcare technology company with a platform for optimizing annual wellness, yada, yada, yada. The merger's going through. They come out with a disclosure. This was a while ago. This is the 8K. Let me see here. Just looking through this 8K real quick. On August 8, 2019, iGambit is Delaware Corporation entered into agreement plan of merger, yada, yada, yada. This just goes into with their the merger itself with the PR. And I think that the stock split was in this 8K, I believe, right? Let me see. I think it was. Yeah, here. Completion of Gambit's reverse stock split of 100 to 1 and 500 to 1, including provider information. There you go. So, here's what I'll say about it. I think that the split isn't terrible, and we've seen people come out. We've seen stocks come out of splits that aren't. You know, first of all, there's never a good stock split. Okay, stock splits are never really good, but there's a couple of things that I will say about this stock split. It's not huge, and they're not doing a stock split to dilute. You'll see a lot of these other stocks that will split because they have mounds of debt and they have billions of shares, and they need to do something to be able to make it look at least a little bit more attractive so that they continue to dilute on you. That's not the case with IGMB. You look at their share structure and it's like, it's not terrible. The share structure isn't terrible, but it still needs to be cleaned up, especially if they're looking to maybe perhaps uplist on the NASDAQ and get their price up to a reasonable level in order to do that. You know, they need to, if they're looking to uplist to any kind of major market, they're going to want to uplist here. And, you know, it's kind of a fact of life. The split's not great. It's not, going to be something that maybe a lot of people are going to want to stick into. But I will tell you that I've seen a lot of people that have been in stock splits like this, and they've come out green. So you just have to take that with a grain of salt and understand that, you know, perhaps the stock split isn't good. Obviously it's not good, but it's one of those things where the company as a whole is doing it for the betterment of their future. It's not something that they're doing because they're just going to continue to dump on you. Andrew, NBDR, CBD company actually making sales. Earnings this week should be interesting. Company is growing and should be at least double up on quarter one revs. 27 million float, no dilution since reverse merger last year. It's my INKW. Yeah, so we can take a look at that. NBDR, Andrew always tuning in to Stockwatch Sunday. Love to see it, man. So let's take a look at the chart here. So it's been kind of up and down here. Obviously, the volume's been a little bit all over the place, but there's a lot of people that are fully invested in this company because they see the long-term value here. And as Andrew can attest to, he sees long-term value that they actually have, real revenue. And this is one of those companies that I would say that CBD related that would probably be a little bit more legit than obviously something like Andy or any of these companies that are just hopping on the bandwagon just now when they were doing something completely different yesterday, relatively speaking. NBDR has been one of those ones that's been in for quite some time. And as Andrew was saying here, you could say 27 million float, no dilution since reverse merger last year. That's an amazing float. That's really good, especially for this price point. NBDR definitely has a lot of value here. So I think that if you're looking for a core group of stocks to invest in, maybe not necessarily day or swing trade, NBDR is going to be one of those. And speaking of which, looks like Pred keeps consolidating at 250. Pred's another one of those ones that, for me personally, let's see here. This is one that I am currently invested in. Pred's still something that I'm very much in. So I just haven't talked about it over the last several weeks because there hasn't been much to talk about. It's just kind of been chilling. I'm usually talking about stocks that I think might have some sort of move in them. I just haven't seen it over the last several weeks from Pred. It's just kind of been chilling in this 250. It's nice to see it hanging out above, $2 now, and it's really sustaining that. But we'll have to see. Still waiting to see that uplisting from Pred. I think it'll happen. It's just a matter of time, not when. All right. So comments seem to be drying up there, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't been here before, if you are looking for a channel that helps you be your own boss, trading in the stock market or with the entrepreneurship, what have you, then please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you'll get notified every time I put a video up. And if you like this video, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up as well. If you're interested in checking out the morning mentorship, links are down in the description below. I highly encourage you to check it out. And if nothing else, go check out that free platform over at WeTradeHQ.com. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'll see you all before the bell. And B. Smith is out. Enjoy the rest of your night.